Hello, and we're going to continue our enterprise series today, and we're going to kick this one off by talking about something called pinpoints. Pinpoints are a feature in the Pilot 2 app that comes with the drone. It's important to recognize that pinpoints are not the same as waypoints. It's not something that you can use to automatically fly to, and there's no information captured about the direction that the drone is facing or the gimbal angle. Pinpoints are a very useful feature in a number of situations, everything from measuring distances and locating items far away to creating smooth orbits. All of these have uses depending on the work you do, so let's get to it. Pinpoints can be created in both the camera view and the map view, and they behave a bit differently depending on which view you're using. So let's start with the drone in the air and using the camera view. When you have the camera set as the main screen, fly to a location you want to mark and then press the pinpoint icon in the top left. It's the blue diamond. You'll hear a sound and a message will appear saying aircraft location pinned successfully. The new pinpoint shows on the map, but it also appears in the camera view, as you can see if we back away to reveal it. What we've done is created a location in the sky at the altitude of the drone. And this can be great for a lot of things, such as accurately marking the center of a tower or an object that you want to orbit, and we'll talk more on that later. One important thing to note is that the pinpoint created is not only at the drone's location, but also at the drone's altitude. It's literally floating in the air. But what if you wanted to create a pinpoint on the ground and you didn't want to land? That's where the map view comes in. I'm going to put a pinpoint on my car, which, despite the predictions of the Jetsons, doesn't fly yet. I'm going to look straight down and position myself over the car, but instead of pressing the pinpoint icon while in the camera view, I'm going to switch to the map view first. Now when I create a pinpoint, it creates it on the ground instead of the air. For some reason, it doesn't give you a sound or notice in this view, but it does appear on the map, as you can see. It's important to understand that when you're in the map view, you can actually move the map and it will always create any new pinpoints based on the center of the map view, regardless of where the drone is. This can actually be a really quick and easy way to create pinpoints without having to fly the drone there first. In fact, if using the map view, you don't even need to have a drone connected to use the map view to create pinpoints. So if you know there are going to be several that you need to create, you can do them before you get on site and just start using them, which can be a great time saver. When you create new pinpoints in the map view, you can edit them at that time. But what if you've created a number of them? How do you access them for editing and so on? To access all the pinpoints, long press on the pinpoint icon. When you do that, a new window will appear. And if you select Check All Pins, a list of the pins you have created will be shown. You can now use the eye icon to turn them on and off in the display, or just touch the line to select it. Anytime you have a pinpoint selected, a couple of extra things appear on the screen. A diamond with a small eye icon on it, and below that a circle which shows a point of interest. If you're in the air and touch the diamond with the eye icon, then the drone will immediately turn and face that pinpoint.
Viewing pinpoint.
This is actually a lot more useful than it might first appear. I've used this when I needed to fly away from something and then fly directly back to it, taking photos and video. By having the drone turn and face it, you now only need to push forward on the stick without worrying that the direction is slightly off. And if the object is far away and difficult to see, this makes this a super useful feature. In fact, you can even move pinpoints around the map view and have the drone face in that direction, as you can see here.
Viewing pinpoint.
Moving on, the next thing I'm going to show is how to use the POI function. This works similar to the POI function in some of the other DJI software, in that once it's selected, the drone will keep facing the point of interest as you move around. This is great for keeping something in focus, but it also allows you to create beautifully smooth orbits. Start by selecting a pinpoint, then touch the POI icon. Once it turns yellow, start moving left or right using the right stick and controlling the speed based on how far you push the stick. If you take your finger off the stick, it will stop, However, you can press the C1 button on the back of the controller, and that will lock the speed, and the drone will then continue to rotate around the pinpoint at that speed. You do still have full control, so you can change the heading, altitude, etc., but the point of interest will remain active until you hit pause. Another useful feature is the ability to use these to measure distances. If we go back to where I created the pinpoint over the church, and then backed away, you can see the distance at the bottom of the screen. This is the distance from the drone's position to the pinpoint position. That can be used in all sorts of useful ways. Now let's briefly touch on how to edit the pinpoints you've created. As before, press and hold the pinpoint icon and select and view all pinpoints. Select a pinpoint by touching it, and here you can change the color by selecting any of the colors at the bottom. To edit the pinpoint, you need to switch to the map view. Once you do, you'll see a box with a number of options, and clicking on the pencil icon will allow you to edit the pinpoint. Here you can change the color again, but you can also change things such as the longitude and latitude, and even the altitude. And any changes you make here take place immediately. So if you have something that you know is at a specific location, you can create a pinpoint, edit it, and then just go and type in the coordinates. And of course, once saved, you can then just have the drone face that location, even if it's miles away. Anyway, that's it for this tutorial. I'm sure that, like me, once you start using this, you'll find it useful for a variety of things. As always, please feel free to leave any comments and questions. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.